שלום לכולם, אני מבקש לפתוח את המושב השני. אז אני מבקש להודות המארגנים שמצאו מקום להקדיש מושב מיוחד לתקופות האסלאמיות ביהודה ושומרון. כשהייתי סטודנט צעיר, העיסוק בתקופת ימי הביניים היה שולי במחקר, ובהרבה מאוד פרסומים בארכיאולוגיה דיברו על תקופת ימי הביניים באופן כללי, ללא שום חלוקת משנה, כמו שכתוב בספר תהילים, כי 1000 שנים בעיניך כיום אתמול. ושערכנו סקרים באמצע שנות ה-80, הייתה תופעה, מוצאים חרסים, כמובן ברונזה, תקופה ביזנטית, מגיעים לימי הביניים, קראו לזה חרסים מעופפים. וברוך השם, יש שינוי רב בכל מה שקשור למחקר של ימי הביניים, תקופות האסלאמיות, אבל לא רק, גם התקופה הצלבנית. ובשנים האחרונות, ב30 שנה האחרונות, כן, מתרבים המחקרים והממצאים המרתקים, שעל חלק מהם אנחנו נשמע היום. אז אנחנו נפתח את ההרצאה הראשונה שלנו, המטבעות האומיים מיהודה ושומרון. ההרצאה תהיה משותפת לדוקטור ניקולאוס שינדל מהמכון הארכיאולוגיה האוסטרי, שמתמחה בנומיסמטיקה ביזנטית ואומאית, והצטרף אליו חיים שקולניק, ארכיאולוג מחוז יהודה, קמ"ט ארכיאולוגיה, עסק הרבה מאוד בחפירות, בגוש עציון, ראיתי מגדל עוז, מרגלות מערת המכפלה ועוד ועוד. אז זה יהיה ככה, חיים יפתח ומיד אחרי כן ניקולאוס ימשיך. בבקשה.
אני אתחיל בעברית, כמה מילים off the record. בוקר טוב לכולם. כבוד גדול לעמוד כאן מול מורי ורבי דוקטור שי בר, שמפיו שמעתי את ההרצאה הראשונה ביום הראשון של השנה הראשונה בתואר הראשון לארכיאולוגיה. יצא ממני משהו בסוף מכל זה. Now I will switch to English. Good morning. The project, the research you are about to hear about now was born in a casual conversation I had with my colleagues from the numismatic department of the IAA, of the Israel Antiquities Authority, from which I've learned that there was an international project, joint project with the Austrian Academy of Sciences running, involving all the provenance Umayyad coin finds from Israel. And I thought that it would be a nice idea to complement their data with our finds from Judea and Samaria. So we took a couple more conversations, a little bit of bureaucracy, and the results are in front of you. The importance of this research, or like any other archaeological or historical research in the region, becomes obvious even after a quick glimpse at the map. You see it's quite some territory confined by an artificial border, like 1/5 the size of Israel, densely packed with sites, larger settlement sites like the city of Nablus or the village of Susia, religious and pilgrimage sites like Nebi Samuel, the monastery of Euthemius, and so on. Most of the coins, has already been said, only the provenance finds were included in this study. Vast majority of the coins originate from controlled excavations conducted by Kamat Archeologia, by the staff officer, and several others originate from surveys conducted on sites. You can even see a couple coming from the north of Gaza Strip, from the days before Oslo Accord. An immediate observation which was was made after studying the distribution of definitely wide variety of types and mints, suggested that they all were circulated together, early with the late ones, contrary to the concept which is still accepted among the scholars, saying that there was a model of single type from single mint at a given time in certain territory. It simply doesn't work. But I think I should stop here, and Dr. Schindel, please take over.
Thank you very much. The majority of the coins, as was to be expected, are base metal issues. There is 2 precious metal coins, 2 silver dirhams. You see one of these here, a dirham struck in Wazid in present-day Iraq in the year 120 of the Hijrah, so in the 740s AD. And the majority of the other coins are bronze and 1 lead piece. I will come back to that. And to analyze the data, we give you here an overview on the coin finds from Judea and Samaria, arranged by the provinces, by the early Islamic provinces in which the respective coins were produced. I will jump ahead to give you an idea. Jund Philistine is the region which basically overlaps with Judea and Samaria. Not only, but Judea and Samaria basically belongs to this one early Muslim administrative unit. In the north we have Jund al-Urdun with the capital of Tabaria, Tiberias, Jund Dimashq, Jund Hims, and more to the north, Jund Kinasrin, basically northern Syria and southeastern Turkey, Al-Jazir, the island to the northeast, and Egypt, Misr to the south of Jund Philistine, that is. And we see, what Haim has already addressed, that the model that early Islamic Umayyad coins were of a very local nature, and some scholars even claimed that in any given city, at any given time, only one single type of coin was legal tender, and everything else was not regarded as money that could be used for transactions. And both when it comes to the chronological distribution of the coin issues and when it comes to the mints and the types, this seems to be incorrect. Because while mints from the region in Philistine, that is to say, the very region where most of these find spots are located, make up most of the coins, as you can see here. Other areas, just like Jund Dimashq, are also well represented. So we see that coins did travel, and in some rare cases, like the coin from Jurjan, which you can see here below, coins traveled even for many, many hundreds of kilometers. Jurjan is ancient Hyrcania. That's the region to the south of the Caspian Sea in present-day Iran. The coin type is very rare. I know only one other published specimen, but at the same time the attribution is completely certain because the coin is unusually well preserved. And so we see that in rare cases coins did in fact travel for quite a far distance. So it's not correct that only one type of coin was legal tender. We see that economic transaction, the flow of money, and we can assume the flow of goods who were paid for by this money, was a process that connected not only cities within one province, one Jund in early Islamic administrative parlance, but even various regions like Egypt, nowadays Egypt, Turkey, etc. Now, if you look at the mints, we have a somewhat different picture. Several of the coins are not so well preserved that the actual mint signatures, the mint names can be read, while almost all of them can be attributed to the region where the respective types were employed. So we see that by far the most common mint in the material from Judea and Samaria is a Ramla, which is not astounding because after Damascus, the imperial capital, and Hims in the north, which had little impact for Judea and Samaria and its coin circulation, as you could see it before, Ramla is the third most productive mint in southern Bilad Asham, and this preponderance of its products, especially its late issues, doesn't come as a surprise. As you can see, bad conservation and sometimes also bad striking doesn't enable us to read all the mints. You see by far the largest group are uncertain coins where the mint name was not legible. But still we have here a pretty standard image of a preponderance of those mints in the southern areas of Bilad Asham. And we have certain influx from Tiberias, Tabaria, and Damascus, as you can see. I will show you here two examples of Ramla coins. The one to the left is the earliest massive coin type, the stridate or radiate type, connected with this Caliphate of Suleiman from 96 to 99 of the Hijri, under whom, during the reign of his brother Al-Walid I, the preceding caliph, the city of Ramla was founded, Ramla being the only important Arabic Muslim colonial settlement in the Syrian region compared to Basra, Kufa, and Wazid, which we encountered as a dirham mint before. And to the right, we have probably the most common coin type of this area, of southern Bilad Asham, of the entire Umayyad period, a late Umayyad Fals type featuring a palm on the one side, on the obverse, and a crescent on the reverse. A very common but yet poorly understood group of coins also feature pictorial devices, in contrast to what is normally believed about the typological choices for Islamic coins. They do in fact depict images like here a hawk or a dove flying to the left, and most of these coins do not bear the mint signature. The Ramla coin before is an exception apparently in the Junts Philistine and Al-Urdun. There was a kind of rule that the capital mint, that's Ar-Ramla and Tabariya respectively, did inscribe the mint names on their figural coins, whereas all other mints, all other kind of provincial mints didn't do so. And it will be only in the context of the study of the proveniences of such late Umayyad figural coins that we will be able to find out where they cluster, from which areas they come, to make at least educated guesses about the proveniences. I'll give you another example. I don't have an image here on my slides. There is a very famous Umayyad coin type, late Umayyad coin type, featuring a menorah, normally with 5 branches, which has been, naturally enough, attributed to the Mint of Jerusalem. But an analysis which I carried out with Robert Kohl and Michael Hollunder a few years ago showed that we have only very few examples of this type from excavations in Jerusalem, whereas in absolute and in relative terms, this menorah type, despite its obvious connection with Jewish symbolism, clusters more heavily in Ashkelon. So it may be that despite the depiction of the menorah, this type originates not from Jerusalem, but from another place in the coastal plain of Israel, where these coins are at least more common than in Jerusalem and its vicinity. We also tried, on the basis of the current literature, we also tried to analyze the dates of the coins, the production dates, which doesn't necessarily mean also that these are the dates when the coins were lost. But we see that we have a certain imbalance. We have a lot of material from the very early period, and then we have another cluster in the late Umayyad period, and according to the chronology built up especially by Lutz Illich, the first 1 or 2 decades of the 2nd century of the Hijra are fairly poor in copper coin production. And I'm positive that Illich's overall chronology still holds true. So it's not like a continuous coin production in these provincial mints in the Junts, Philistine and Al-Urdun. It's up and down. with maybe the enhanced coin production in the late Umayyad phase trying to make up a certain dearth of petty cash resulting by the limited coin production in the decades before. Most of the coins that we studied were fairly normal, fairly standard. There was one outstanding piece, namely a lead coin, the one to the left, which doesn't bear a mint signature, mint name, but it looks in terms of style and typology similar to coins from Baalbek in present-day Lebanon, belonging to Jund Dimashq, so the early Islamic province of Damascus. These coins are interesting for two reasons. On the one hand, new coin types from archaeological finds that can be easily identified are not so common in this period. And on the other hand, it also gives us an interesting insight into the nature, the character of base metal coinage in the early Islamic period. To the right, you see another example of a lead coin from the Saint Mint of Baalbek, which seems to have had a certain sympathy for producing lead coins, which are otherwise not a part of the official coin production in the Umayyad period. And these lead coins, like the one to the right, are markedly heavier than copper coins of the same type. A copper coin that would bear the same type, the first part of the Shahada on the obverse, and the mint indication, this coin was struck in Baalbek in this case, on the reverse, would weigh like 1.5 grams in bronze, but the lead specimens weigh about 5 to 6 grams. This gives me the idea that despite this being just petty cash, the character of the coins was still a value currency, not a token currency, as was certainly the case from the Abbasid period onwards, and that the respective values of the metals, bronze compared, copper, bronze compared with lead, had an influence on the circulation value of the respective issues, because otherwise you could have struck a much thinner and much less heavy example of this lead coin you can see to the right. And this first part of our analysis, these 131 Umayyad coins, have already been published, as you can see here. We are looking forward to publish, on the one hand, the Abbasid material, which was not covered in this article, and at the same time to include possibly also additions, because I think we stopped material collection in 21 or 22 or something like that. So to make up, because I mean this is a project that will go on, and maybe in 20 years' time or so, the number of coins will have doubled or increased 4 times or whatever. But at least I think it was a good thing to begin with this. On the one hand, to document the material, on the other hand, to lay a foundation for analysis, numismatic analysis of various patterns of numismatic and economic research questions, and at the same time also maybe give a stimulus to other colleagues, be it in Israel, be it outside, to conduct similar research, because as far as I know, as far as I'm informed, this is the first time for the early Islamic period, for the post-reform period at least, that Umayyad coins are not studied just from one single archaeological site, but from a larger area. So in this case, this research in Judea and Samaria is really setting a model for future research on the link and the combination between archaeological and numismatic data. Thank you. Questions?
יש למישהו שאלות? וואו. Any question? Everything is clear.